Are you overwhelmed by the challenge of personalizing communication for thousands of students? That's where Element 451's AI assistants come in. From nudging prospective students to guiding those already on their journey, AI assistants don't just automate. They write, build, and optimize every step of your digital campaigns. Discover how at element451.com/AI team.
Seth,
Yes.
our friendship began in Vegas.
At Bill's. Our friendship did begin at Bill's Gambling Hall and Saloon.
Oh, rest in peace, Bills.
Yeah, which had an awesome Elvis impersonator.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to Higher Ed Pulse, your Monday morning energizer covering insights and trends in higher ed marketing and enrollment. I'm Mallory Wilsey, bringing over 15 years of ed tech and marketing expertise to your earbuds.
And I'm Seth Odell, joining the Pulse with my own adventures from leading marketing at top universities to founding Kanahoma, one of the industry's fastest growing digital marketing agencies.
Each week, we bring you the kind of insider insights you typically only find over cocktails with your pals at a conference.
It's fast, it's fun, and it's designed for you, the busy higher ed professional.
You're not just listening to another podcast.
You're checking the pulse of higher education.
Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher ed professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.
Hello and welcome to the Higher Ed Pulse. I am your co-host Seth, here as always with the lovely and vivacious Mallory. Mallory, how are you doing?
I'm great, Seth. I'm excited to talk today about travel tips. AMA is coming up.
I'm pumped for this episode. I'm really excited.
All right, let's go.
Okay, AMA is coming up, but we're in Vegas. So first, should we ask, what's your one sentence take on Vegas tip?
Go off strip. It is worth it. What's yours?
Mine is Vegas is a 2-night town, which is going to make AMA a hard problem for me because I'm there for 4 nights. But it's just, you pack it in and you got to be honest with yourself about that. It's not a place where you do a little. It's a place where you do a lot. And so sometimes just acknowledge that. Less nights, bit longer days, and just have a great time.
All right, wait. My second one sentence is go find a fat Elvis. Seth,
Yes.
our friendship began in Vegas.
At Bill's. Our friendship did begin at Bill's Gambling Hall and Saloon.
Oh, rest in peace, Bills.
Yeah, which had an awesome Elvis impersonator. It was great. Larger than life, literally. It was an amazing experience.
All right. Well, we do have an amazing conference coming up, AMA Higher Ed. I know a ton of our listeners are planning to head to Vegas next month. We're about a month away. So we figured, hey, why not share some of our travel tips, given that Seth and I have both been to Vegas, plenty of times. And we know that not everybody has. So where do you want to start, Seth?
I'm going to hit you with a few travel tips related to hotels, and then we'll see what you got, where you want to go. So here's the first tip. You can check in so early at so many places. Now, Vegas sometimes is going to charge you for it, but a lot of other cities won't. I was in New York a week and a half ago, and I checked into a hotel at 6:30 in the morning. I literally flew a red eye, and they got me into a room. And so number one is check-in times are always negotiable. Number two is set your preferences in your loyalty account. On any accounts that I have, like Hilton or Marriott or those, I always tell them that I want to be away from the elevator, away from ice machines. All that stuff's automated once you put it in your account. The third is if you're at a nice hotel that has a concierge, they can literally solve almost anything. I've had people go run and get diapers when I was with Lola and we ran low. And the others, if you're at a hotel without a concierge, the front desk can still hook it up. It was 5 or 6 years ago, I went to AMA in Atlanta and I forgot to book a room. And so I'm checking in and they're like, we don't have any record of you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I booked the conference and I never booked a room. And I totally deadpan was like, look, we both know that you keep some rooms empty for people that have situations. this is probably not your common one. This is my fault. It's not just like a flood in the room. I'm like, but I need one of those super secret emergency rooms. And they like pause for a minute. They're like, okay, but like it's on a floor that's getting painted, so people aren't. I'm like, that's fine. I can walk through construction. And like they hooked me up, but it was like 100%. I'm like, we both know that you have rooms. I need help. And so, front desk can hook it up if you just ask. And I've not made that mistake again.
That's wild. I think I've actually had like nightmares before where I've, shown up somewhere without a room booked or without the flight booked. I can't believe you actually did.
Yeah, it was bad. But you know what? They helped me out. I had a similar one. This is not travel exactly, but I went to a really nice steakhouse with a new client, me and my account director. And we walk in and they're like, we don't have a reservation. The client's like parking, literally. We like see him parking. And it was like a big dinner. And my account director holds up her phone. She's like, look, I have it right here. And they're like, yeah, you booked that in San Diego, but you're in LA. And like she books the wrong city for the right steakhouse. And the same thing, I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Like my client is literally pulling up right now. We both know you keep a table open for very important people. I am not very important, but you can be if you totally save me right now. And they were like, sure thing. And immediately ushered us in a full restaurant that was requiring reservations and found a table for us. So maybe there's a trend here that this tends to follow me. But when in doubt, just being honest, and most people will try to help.
And sweet talk your way out of it, clearly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It is a human on the other side who is helping you, right? And there's absolutely something to be said around killing them with kindness. People do not respond well when you get upset because you made a mistake. So, treat the other person like a person, and maybe they'd be willing to go above and beyond and help you out. I think that's a great tip.
Yeah, totally. So what do you have, Mallory? What are you bringing to the table?
Well, I have not been known to pack light in my travel days. Anybody who knows me knows it is always an oversized suitcase. So I feel a little funny about giving packing tips, but here we are. I really believe in a capsule wardrobe when traveling for work. You need to have versatile pieces.
So wait, what is it? What is a capsule wardrobe?
All right. So think about your capsule wardrobe as a very well curated collection of clothes that just can be interchangeable. So, looking at neutrals or picking similar colors that go really well together. Some people like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, which is,
okay.
I know we're getting into it, Seth.
Let's do it. 5
tops, 4 bottoms, 3 shoes, 2 dresses, and an accessory. There you go.
Oh,
now,
cool.
This is totally do as I say, not as I do, because if you were to go look in my suitcase for AMA, it's probably going to have 10 tops, 18 bottoms, 22 dresses. But, some people swear by this, but there is something to be said to prioritizing packing things that are versatile and that you can really easily mix and match. Us ladies do like, and guys too. I will not discriminate. We all like our shoes, right? And those are very heavy. And so as somebody who's constantly pushing up against that 50-pound limit.
Yeah. 100%. So I'll tell you on the packing side, I don't have a good tip, but Lauren, my wife, has an amazing one, which is she uses this thing called Fashion Pass, where it's like a clothing rental company where you can like rent a few outfits a month, and it's like way cheaper than buying all these like nice new things. She will bring a bunch of Fashion Pass clothes with the mailback bag, and then she'll have the front desk return it, and then she'll use the excess space in the suitcase to put anything new that she buys on a trip back in. I watched her do this, and I'm like, what do you do? You are like so in the zone right now. This is amazing. Yeah. Like, she had it all figured out.
Well, your wife is a fashionista, so I am not surprised whatsoever, but that's a real pro tip. I know a lot of ladies, a lot of the Barbies of AMA also use Rent the Runway very similarly. Yeah. Ashley Budd recently got me sucked into that, and it's been the best and worst decision I think I've ever made in my life. So.
Fair enough.
Hey, it's Seth. Element 451 is hosting the AI Engage Summit on October 29th and 30th. This free virtual event features many of your favorite Enrollify creators and will explore AI's impact on student engagement, enrollment marketing, and institutional success. Learn to tap into AI to automate personalized outreach, improve your emails, streamline content creation, and boost campaign performance. Plus, hear directly from current students on how AI is influencing their engagement and campus life. Don't miss my opening keynote, State of the State, a candid look at where we are and where we need to go. The AI Engage Summit is your guide to understanding and applying AI at your school. Registration is free. Visit element451.com to save your spot. Now, back to the show.
All right, well, I got some rental car and some flight tips. Are we cool to hit these?
Go for it.
Obviously, the first is you shouldn't get a rental car in Vegas, but in general, one, I never fill up a rental car with gas. Like, not unless, like, I'm driving really, really far, but if I'm getting a rental car just to putt around town, when you really do the math, and you do the math not against the regular gas price, because when you're renting it, they always show you, like, here's the current cost of gas, like, in the state. They don't say, well, what's the current cost of gas at the gas station next to the airport that's, like, already super expensive? Like, if you're only driving around town for a day or two, I always return it empty. Half the time they never notice, and if they do, the charge is like $6. So don't fill up your rental car. Don't get scared. Uber everywhere. Car services can be cheaper than you think sometimes, especially if you're traveling in a group. So like, don't be shy about actually reaching out and getting a quote. From a flight perspective, you only want direct flights if you can do it. I'll even move client meetings to make sure, because where we are in San Diego, it's like mid-market. And so there's sometimes it's like, well, we fly direct, but one time a day, or not on every day of the week. And so I will try to figure out where the direct flights are to avoid any complications. If you do run into complications, rebook yourself on the app while you're still on the flight that's delayed or in the airport. Don't wait to talk to anybody. I recently got the last seat on a flight out of Dallas when I got stuck coming home from St. Louis. And the reason was that I rebooked it when I realized that our flight wasn't going to make it. And so I went on flight Wi-Fi, rebooked the following flight. And by the time we landed, everyone else who was transferring got stuck overnight. If you're in a city that's primarily West Coast, that's serviced by an airline called JSX. It's like a regular small airline, but they service out of the private airport terminals. And so there's like no TSA and there's no waiting. You can show up 10 minutes before you leave. And they're literally like $150 more than Southwest. It's like really interesting. And then it's always better to fly in at night. The day before, and then try to fly out after your meeting. Don't ever do those mornings where you're trying to risk getting in and then going to the big thing. It never works. And then finally, there are these things called Element, LMNT salt packs. And they're for hydration, and I always keep those in my bag. And you want to take them before you travel, not just when you travel. So I always take them in the morning when I fly. So those are some rental car and some flight tips from my travels.
Ooh, love all of those. My next set of tips are going to be Vegas specific, because that is where AMA is headed. And so if you're going to a new city or a place you're not familiar with, I like to lean on two websites to do my research. I tend to plan my travel around where I'm going to eat. So Eater is a big website for me. I love doing that research on Eater. But ChatGPT, y'all, like, come on. AI can be a huge assist in travel research these days. No need to go all over the internet to find information anymore. Just like ask ChatGPT, tell it what you like. And I've been using that pretty consistently this year, and it's been returning great results. But when we go to Vegas for AMA, I will tell you, having just been in Vegas back in May, there's a couple shows I highly recommend and some places that you gotta go. Because like I said, I kind of plan my travel around where I'm getting my next meal. So if you're looking for the best breakfast, you go to Eggslut. 10 out of 10, the best breakfast sandwich you are going to eat on that trip. You're probably going to wait in line and for that food for about half an hour because everybody else is obsessed with it too. But I mean, Seth, do you not know Eggslut?
No, never been.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's the best. Absolutely the best. In terms of like an experience, have to check out Eataly. I know that they are throughout the US, but there's, plenty of folks who've never been into one, and it is such a
I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Oh, Eataly's phenomenal. It's an Italian oasis. Okay. You got to check that out. I love, and it's a little far from Caesar's Palace, but if you are taking the walk, go check out Nomad. The hotel is beautiful. They have like Tiffany stained glass all over the place, but their restaurants are also excellent. And you can kind of sneak into the bar one. You don't really need a reservation. So Nomad's great. And then two more, the tasting menu at L'Atelier in MGM Grand. If you are looking for a bougie dinner, that's the spot. But if you are just looking to stay in Caesars Right when you walk in, Stanton Social Prime is an incredible restaurant, incredible cocktails. And it looks very like fun and exclusive. You can't like see into it. You just enter through a door. So there are some restaurant Vegas recommendations.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I don't have nearly as many good Vegas specific recommendations. I haven't been in a few years. And I don't drink anymore, and so my nightlife is much more mellow. But I will say my one Vegas tip, which is very obscure, but people always appreciate. People always say don't play the airport slots. But the real answer is, if you want to play the airport slots, look for the progressive slots. Because yes, the airport slots have different odds, but progressive slots are the same odds across all the places, the progressive slots. It's the slots where you play and like the jackpot keeps going up, but the jackpot's not specific to you. It's like at different casinos all over the state. Progressive slots in the Vegas airport have the same odds as any casino in the state. And so you can go ahead and play those and not feel bad about it. But it's hard to find. There's not nearly as many of them anymore. So that's probably my only Vegas specific tip for the group.
I've got two more.
Oh, yeah, please.
Speakeasies abound on the Strip, and Eater has an awesome article. I'll put it in the show notes that kind of pinpoints where all the speakeasies are and how to get into them. So if that's your vibe, check that out. And if you are looking to see a show, I know they are all over Vegas, but there are two great Cirque du Soleil shows that I would highly recommend. The first is O. It is such an experience. The stage turns into a pool, essentially, and is just like unlike any other Cirque du Soleil out there. And then the newest one at New York is called Mad Apple. If you're kind of like, I don't think I'm a Cirque du Soleil kind of person, this one is definitely a little more approachable. They take that New York City vibe. So there's a stand-up comedian in the show. There's singing. You can actually even go on stage before the show starts and like order your drinks from the on-stage bar. So yes, Mad Apple and O, put them at the top of your list if you are getting in early.
How are you going to fit all of this in? Like, are you going to be an AMA for a month? Like, this is so much good stuff.
Look, I fit that all in back in May so that I could just be focused on AMA when I'm there next month.
All right. It can be done then, I guess. That's good to know. I love it. All right, I got my couple last minute tips for folks. One is obviously bring a power bank. They're smaller than ever to keep your phone charged. I would encourage you, if you travel out for business and you can expense it, to get a mobile hotspot or like a MiFi. You never, ever want to log on to hotel internet ever. It's not secure, and so don't trust it. I don't trust conference Wi-Fi and everything else. You never know from a security perspective. If you do it, just don't go on your bank account or anything else. But when in doubt, and the last one, the most important, and my challenge to AMA, and if you see me not doing this too, that's fine, call me on it, but leave your laptop in the room. All too often, we all shuffle around with a big bag and a laptop. So if we have a 10-minute window somewhere else, we can try to clear this. Use your phone, get what you can done. If you need to run back to your room because it's urgent, that's fine. But I am more and more leaving my laptop in the room to go be part of the conference and enjoy it. And it just keeps being a benefit for me, and I'm really glad that I make that decision.
My final tip, also AMA specific, and this was a learning coming out of 2019 when AMA was at Caesar's Palace. What do most people do at the end of the night after they've gone to dinner or their social events? They come back to the hotel where the conference is at. They walk in, there's a lobby bar, and it is a really easy place to just kind of organically connect with folks that, maybe you didn't have evening plans with.
Yeah.
That does not happen at Caesar's Palace, friends. You walk into Caesar's Palace and you look around and you do not know who is there versus who is at the conference. It is just a madhouse. So it's actually really hard to find people naturally and organically. So you have to do a little more work to plan ahead. And you also have to remember, even just getting from where the conference event location is back to whatever tower you've booked your hotel room in might be a 20-minute walk. So you have to...
Okay, maybe bring your laptop after all. That's really fun.
Yeah. So maybe you do need your laptop this year, friends. But
if you think you need it, that's like a 40-minute round trip maybe. So
you do just have to plan a little more at this one than at other conferences.
I'm glad you shared this. I didn't think about that.
Make sure you've got some time. Yeah, you just need to plan for the time that it takes to commute between places, and email all your your university pals now and get their phone numbers because you're going to be texting or slacking everybody to find them.
Yeah. Okay. Great call out. This is good. I'm excited. These are good tips, good tricks. I would really love if people want to share this. Like, obviously, we'll always take like ratings on the podcast and reviews on the podcast. That always helps us if you want to. But just for this episode specifically, find us on LinkedIn and share your tips and tricks. I'm sure we've shared a lot, but there's got to be more out there. And just some of these are always gold when I hear folks tell me like, oh, you didn't think about doing it this way? Like the rebooking while you're on the flight, you're going to miss. Somebody taught me that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that just saved me literally an overnight of being away from my family. And so like travel tips and tricks can really pay off if you have them in your back pocket ready to use when the opportunity presents itself.
But let me tell you, if you are not traveling this fall and you're feeling a little FOMO, do not worry, friends. We have in just a couple weeks the AI Engage Summit coming up. This is a virtual event on October 29th and 30th from noon to 4 p.m. Eastern on each day. And we are going to be exploring how AI is revolutionizing enrollment marketing and student engagement. You can do this from the comfort of your home or office. No travel tips needed. Seth, you're our opening keynote.
I am. I'm ready.
How is that presentation coming?
It's coming along, Mallory. It's on the list. I'm working on it. I do have a really great outline. It is not designed yet, but
I'm just giving you shit.
I didn't know you were going to ask me about that. I was like, do I bluff? Do I bluff? I didn't bluff, but I'll be ready to bluff when we're in Vegas. But I'm not a bluffer yet, I guess. So, yeah, it's coming along.
It's not late until it's noon on the 29th. So
okay, fair enough.
You've got a little bit more time.
In development.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, folks, this was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week. Bye, all.
Take care.
The Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Podcast Network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our show helps higher ed marketers and admission pros find their next big idea and features a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Brian Gross, Eddie Francis, Jenny Lee Fowler, and so many of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.